Guys, today we are going to analyze the current context of Bitcoin. We will also talk about Ethereum and we will look at some other altcoins as well. That's it. Bitcoin, both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and even the altcoins, are in a somewhat more complex scenario, because in recent days we have had a very directional movement. And this directional movement causes impatient people to buy at the top, often at a local top. It's a market that may seem easy, but in reality it is not an easy market. It is a market where the vast majority of retail loses money due to a lack of patience, right? Because the trader who is an experienced trader, let's say the trader who is an experienced trader, will not buy on the impulse wave. No, he buys on the correction wave to catch the next impulse. Okay, if you didn't catch it, right? If you couldn't enter this region, right, where the wave once started, it's no use trying to enter here. Might even make a little profit, but your stop will be very bad. Your stop has to be below the last low. Got it? So your risk reward makes no sense at all. Usually it's a movement that people think it's easy to win, but in the end, when we look at the end of the month, the end of the week, usually the person is negative, or they end up being liquidated. I say this because I have gone through this many times, and many people come to me reporting this type of problem. So, on the contrary, people think it is an easy market because everything is rising, but in reality, it is not. It is a market that is even complex to trade. And what do we have here today with Bitcoin? Bitcoin has started to initiate the retracement movement. Okay, Bitcoin, if we were to look at the larger range, the daily range, we should reach close to the region of 78,000, 78,500. Okay, between 80,000 and 400,000 to 77,000. At 18,500, between 80,400 and 77,900. Okay, approximately it would be a retracement zone on the daily chart, right? But since we are in a very strong cycle in Bitcoin, a very strong bullish wave, we have a region on the 4-hour chart that could be a region where the price might want to initiate a small upward movement between the region of 9,400 to 88,800. Bitcoin could capture liquidity below the PO key here, align, and rise again. This is a possible scenario for Bitcoin, but it is a very high risk scenario, very high risk, because Bitcoin's retracement so far is very small compared to the large movement it initiated. So the ideal movement for Bitcoin should be for the price to capture liquidity below the external liquidity. The price capturing liquidity below this external liquidity, ideally it would mitigate the order block that we have, which is between the region of $8,400 and the $78,500. The ideal would be a manipulation below this region, this external liquidity, so that we can then start an upward movement. Of course, the price may also, depending on the strength of the momentum, visit this internal order block. And I can also start the movement, then we would wait for the flow alignment. In this first zone, it is also important to wait for the flow alignment to confirm our entry, since the price was in a drift. And this drift was broken. There is a lot of liquidity below this trend line. So, these are the possible movements for Bitcoin. I believe it is entering a possible retracement movement. Ethereum is the same. We have an order block close to 3,140 to 3,035. The first buying zone is in this region. It is a setup with a slightly higher risk, much riskier. The next zone would be a retracement zone on the daily chart around 2,150. At our 2,770, the second zone is the most viable zone, the most interesting zone to buy. Many people think that